All right, good morning, everybody. I just woke up and got my calcs done for these guys. I guess this wasn't like surprise, but these guys were kind of expected tonight. Their details. Um, we have not gotten the data download for Rose yet. I just want to talk about that for half a second here. Um, Sorry, my brain is still like fried this morning, but Rose should be coming in the data download tonight, I believe. That's whenever we should see Rose, and then we'll know exactly when he's dropping then. But there's going to be a data download tonight for these guys right here, this Android 17 and 18 right here. So at some point, there will be a data download tonight. We'll get their info. We'll get like the celebration, or we'll see like some stuff, right? Just whatever's in that data download, we'll get assets for it. And Rose should be in there. Now on global, we're getting Turles. I'm not going over Turles in this video. I think I have a calc video up for Turles on the channel that's old, but if not, I'll go over it tonight sometime. But I gotta get up and go to work, so we gotta hurry this up quick. So here they are, Android 17 and 18. Sorry if I'm a little scattered at the moment, but we'll get through it. We have their full details here, courtesy of Goresh. You can see his little Frieza profile pic up here in the top right. Everybody say hello to Goresh. There he is. Look, let's poke him. Or like pick his nose, okay? There we go. Anyway, let's go ahead and read their details and then get into calcs here. So this is going to be the next Dokkan Fest on JP. If the data downloads tonight on the 2nd, then I would expect them to drop like on the 3rd. Well, technically it'll be like the 4th. It'll be like the 4th at 3 a.m. Central. So once the data download actually hits, Dokkan info, will have like a countdown to their banner. So we'll go over that like when the data download actually hits. I'll do a data download video. But for now, let's just go over their kit and see what they got going on here. So their leader skill is Tournament Participants or Siblings Bond, category key +3, HP attack and defense 170%, and an additional 30% to characters who also belong to Reps of Universe 7 or joined forces. This is an interesting leader skill. I'm curious to see what Tournament Participants is going to be. Because that's going to be a little bit different, right, than Universal Survival Saga. So I'm interested to see what this is going to be. If it's just going to be tournament of power participants, or if it's going to be just all tournament participants. We'll see what that ends up being. And then Siblings Bond needed a new leader, so I'll take it, I guess. And then 30% to join forces and Reps of Universe 7, so they're going to be like leading the androids. Like any duo, like android unit, duo tournament of power unit, duo siblings bonds like Gohan and Goten, characters like that. So, I mean, this could be interesting. We'll see how this ends up playing out in game. Entrance animation is Android 17 says, I am man, my name is Android 17. Let's find out who of us is the strongest. Android 18 says, my name is Android 18, the goddess of Universe 7. It's whenever they're playing around with the other universe, right? And they're like, because they're introducing themselves as like the protectors of love or whatever. And so they're, playing into the bit, right? Fun little moment there in the Tournament of Power. Their super attack is the Axel dance, like it always is. It's kind of like Goku and Vegeta, how they always have like cooperation between rivals. They always have the Axel or like the acceleration dance or whatever. Greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn. That's a 50% raise and causes immense damage. Let's finish this quickly. Yeah, same. Unit super attack is the overdrive power, massively raises attack and defense for 1 turn. That's a 100% raise, causes immense damage, and all allies attack and defense 35% for 2 turns, excluding this character. This is a really nice buff. I'm glad that they gave them this. Their unit super condition is it launches when there's an ally whose name includes Goku attacking in the same turn. So in the same turn might be a little rough for these guys because, I mean, they're an Android unit, right? So Android units generate a ton of their power from being next to other Android units. They have, like if we just go ahead and skip down to their links here, Android Assault gives key and defense, Twin Terrors gives key and defense, Infinite Energy gives key and defense, Shocking Speed gives key and defense, Tournament of Power gives key and defense, right? So these are like links that you definitely want to have active. And if you're next to like a UI Goku or something like that, like AGL UI Goku, for instance, has Shocking Speed and Tournament of Power, which is still decent, but Android Assault is like 20% defense. I think Twin Terrors is 5, and Infinite Energy is also 5. So you're missing out on like 30% defense potentially. And then the next best Android, like Tournament of Power Android unit that we have is the MVP 17, the physical MVP 17, right? And he also gives 3 key and 60% defense support, at full HP, and then 77% defense support, at low HP. So, like, that's just a ton of support that you're missing out on and a ton of, like, extra power from links that you could be generating. So, like, clearly this guy's best partner is going to be, the MVP 17. But I went ahead and did calcs in a couple different scenarios. We'll go over that in just a second. So there, but by the way, this is a really good super tech effect. 100% attack and defense, and then 35% to all allies, excluding this character, right? So it's just everybody else. Like, that is obviously very, very good. And it being 2 turns means that it doesn't really matter if you put them in slot 2, right? Because they'll still be getting that buff to the second rotations. So that is really nice. And if you're running these guys' teams, you'll just perpetually have that buff up. So, what I'm interested to see is it says excluding this character. I wonder if it means like this named character, or like if you have two of them, if they'll affect the other one on the other rotation, if that makes sense. I'm not entirely sure at the moment, but I'm just gonna assume that it does like buff the second one. But again, I don't know for certain. I can't like dig into these things too much right now. My brain is fried. Um, Passive skill here is 17 and 18's Conviction. Activates entrance animation once only if there's another Reps of Universe 7 category ally on the team, and they change a random type of key sphere to a rainbow other than int key spheres for 4 turns. That's really good. You'll see why here in a second. Also, just generating rainbow key spheres at all for any amount of time is usually pretty good. Attack and defense, or attack plus 170%, defense plus 180%, gain an additional 50% attack and defense, and reduces damage received by 35% when performing a super attack. This is good. However, I would prefer if the 35% damage reduction was start of turn. It's great that they get it at all, but if it was just start of turn, that would be a lot better. Obviously, right? Because right now, start of turn, they only have 180%. We'll keep going through their passive, but you guys know what I'm going to say about start of turn defense, right? And a certain boss that's in the game. Gain an additional attack plus 50% and high chance of performing a critical hit when collecting 7 or more key spheres. Tournament participants, category allies, key plus 2, attacking defense 35%. Really good. Anytime you get like a leader unit, that's a really good support unit. We like that. And they grant tournament participants, category allies, an additional key plus 1 and attack plus 17% for a total of 52%, and defense plus 18% for a total of 53% when collecting 7 or more key spheres. This should be pretty easy considering their rainbow orb changing for the first few turns. And then they reveal the location of enemy super attacks during character's attacking turn and gain an additional 59% when performing a super attack if there is a character whose name includes Goku attacking in the same turn. So a scouter obviously is really good. And then, just getting the extra 59% attack can be really good for them as well. They do have an active skill, the merits of unlimited energy, able to be used once 5 turns have elapsed from the start of battle. HP is 78% can be able to be used once 5 turns have elapsed from the start of battle, and HP is 78% or less, and you can use it up to 8 times, which is pretty crazy. I mean, 8 times is a little, like, funny, but yeah, so this is going to be a little tough to get. You guys know, turn 5, HP condition. Can you guys think of any other units recently that have gotten something like this, and it's kind of hard to get it? So we'll see how this ends up playing out in-game, but what it does is it changes tech key spheres to int. That's all it does. Not super crazy powerful or anything, but, maybe this could be good. I guess what they're thinking is that, like, right here, your rainbow orb changing runs out on turn 5, because you only get this for 4 turns from their start of turn. And so then once 5 turns have elapsed, right, then you can start getting this. And I think there can be some overlap. Like if you get these guys in turn 2, then they'll rainbow orb change until turn 6, and then you'll be able to get this on the 5th turn, I think. So potentially you could have both of these things up at the same time, I think. So we'll see how this ends up playing out in game. I won't be able to showcase these guys because I'm not a JP player, but people will be doing JP showcases on these guys. I just wanted to make sure you guys had some calcs in mind whenever you start watching their showcases. Let's see. Links are Android Assault, Twin Terrors, Infinite Energy, Shocking Speed, Tournament of Power, The Innocence, and Fierce Battle. We'll go over what those do in just a second. Also, I do have a JP account. I just don't summon for characters like this, right? And plus, with the sync coming, there's just like no point of playing JP anymore for me. Categories are tournament participants, sibling spawn, reps of Universe 7, joined forces, Universal Survival Saga, androids, worthy rivals, and superheroes. So, pretty decent. Pretty decent. Let's go ahead and move into their calcs now, what you guys have probably actually been waiting for 10 minutes into the video. My apologies. All right, so Tournament of Power, 17 and 18, here we go. On the left here is just going to be them without the unit super, and on the right is going to be them with the unit super. One thing I want to point out at the start is that remember the unit super will only play on your first attack. So if you double super with the unit super up, so remember they get 100% attack and defense with the unit super. If you double super, you can only get the unit super attack on your first super. So it'll play the normal super attack second. So unfortunately, you can't get a double massively raise. You can only get one massively raise and one greatly raise if you double super. So that's why if you see down here it goes 100 to 150, it's because this second super attack will always be, well, assuming you get the unit super with this first super, the second super will always be the axle dance there. So it'll only give a 50% raise. So that's just something to keep in mind. So on the left here is just them without any support. Oh, I'm sorry. On the left here is them linked with MVP 17, and on the right it's linked with MVP 17, and they're getting the unit super from Goku. Is the difference here? So I highlighted what's difference down here. So if we start out, they have a defense of 10,628. If we go back over here, you can see they are int, which means they get 2,000 to stats at 55% and 5,000 to stats at 100%. So you can see here their base defense is 5,628. So we add 5,000 to it to get their rainbow defense, or 2,000 to it to get their 55% defense. So that's where we're starting out. They have a 200% leader. Obviously, it's themselves. I think they have some other ones, but they count for themselves. So obviously they have a 200% leader access. For links, we did Android Assault, Twin Terrors, Infinite Energy, Shocking Speed, and Tournament of Power for a total boost of 42% from links. If I go over here, you can see Android Assault gives 2 key, 20% defense at level 10. Twin Terrors gives 2 key attack and defense and crit chance. Oh, I'm sorry. 2 key attack and defense and dodge chance plus 5% at level 10. Infinite Energy gives 2 key attack and defense and crit chance at 5% at level 10. Solid Support just gives attack. Shocking Speed gives 2 key, 5% defense, and Tournament of Power gives 3 key, 5% attack and defense. So this is obviously a character that you're going to want to link level. You can see here they go from 10% to 2 key, 20%, 2 key to 2 key, 5% attack and defense and dodge, 2 key to 2 key, 5% attack and defense and crit chance. Like you can see that these, link levels are giving them significant buffs. This character at 55% level 1 links versus like rainbowed level 10 links, or even just 55% level 10 links, and 55% level 1 links, you're going to see drastically different performances from them because it's giving them a raw, 42% multiplicative buff here, having all of those links activated. This is a unit that you want to get these links activated. It's almost like a villain unit, how they generate a ton of power from their links. It's very similar for these Android units. So we take this value right here, and we multiply by 1.42 to get the buff for the links. Again, it's the same on this side. Everything is the same going forward, just lower numbers starting out here. So at the start of turn, they have 233 attack and 233% attack and defense if you're able to collect 7 orbs. If we go back over here, they get 180% at the start of turn. They get 35% right here. So what is that? That's 215. And then they get 18% when collecting 7 key spheres, which I think should be pretty easy considering they are rainbow orb changing, for a total boost of 233%. And then here they're linked with MVP 17. So we're getting an additional 60% defense at the start of turn. Down here we have it if his full buff is active. So that's what's different between these two. It's only a slight difference. It's only 17% more defense. But you can see, like, that's the difference between these two calcs right here. So, again, down here, it's the exact same as right up here, except for we have MVP 17's full buff up down here. That's the only difference between the top and bottom right here, is that this is assuming with just the 60% that he gets. This is assuming that you have the full 77%. So everything else you can see is the same up until that point, and then from there on, it's only a slight increase at that point. So pretty good, but his support is inconsistent because it's HP based. So I wanted to show it whether it was up or not. So I mean, again, it's only 17%, so it's not like it's making a huge difference at the end of the day, but it could be important. So yeah, 200, so we multiply by 3.93 because their total boost here is 293%. Again, that's 180 from their passive, 35% from their support, and then 18% from getting at 7 key spheres. They get 50% on super attack and their passive, and then they get 50% for doing the super attack, and then if they double super, it'll be a 100% raise. So the way you calc that is the 50% on super from their passive, you multiply, this right here by 1.5, and then for their super attack effect, you multiply this number, this 444, you multiply by 1.5. And then for a double super, you take 444, 830, and you multiply it by 2 because you're getting a 100% raise. So essentially just doubles, right? So this is where they are at, post super attack right here, rainbowed, linked with MVP 17. Which is pretty decent. And then over here, if you have like a Goku floating around or something like that, and you're getting the unit super, you can see right here the defense number is the same because I mean it's still a 100% buff, 100% buff. You just jump to this number immediately, right? And then for a double super, you get an extra 50%, so it jumps up to 112 or 1.1 million basically. So this unit super obviously is going to be good for them. You can see essentially you get the value of a double super is how you can think about that. So like obviously this is going to be really good for you. And you can see that that tracks, with everything that we're doing with these calcs. So kind of this is like a ideal scenario, I guess. Like if you can run them effectively next to MVP 17 and you can trust that he's not going to get you killed, this is kind of what you're looking at in terms of your defense, right? I mean, it's pretty impressive, I mean, only one super attack, 667k defense is not very impressive with 35% damage reduction. But with the unit super attack getting up to 890 with 35% damage reduction is going to be pretty respectable. To me, this is a full dodge unit. I know you guys are going to look at this and go like, oh, full additional is definitely the way to go. And yeah, I mean, it'll definitely help you out. I mean, the extra, 200,000 defense that you're getting here, it could be pretty useful for you. But, what's going to be more useful, guys? An extra 200,000 defense or like a, 30% chance to just not take a super attack at all? This is an int unit, so you can pretty easily get them up to a full 30 dodge in their hidden potential system. And I really do think that that is going to be more valuable for them than an extra 200k defense on super attack here. So you guys can make the decision for yourself if you're a JP player and you want to, decide how you want to do things. But honestly, this unit, like these defense numbers, if you're not getting double supers, like let's ignore the double super line here for a second and just look at this. I mean, do you guys think 696k defense is impressive? And is there really a Goku that you want to be running right now? That's on their teams. Maybe if tournament participants includes like 23rd World Tournament Goku, maybe this could be pretty good. But we will just have to wait and see, right? Plus, you could start getting into some weird hodgepodges of like units. You could make it work, but still. Oh, let's not move that. But but yeah, still, I don't know these numbers right here. Single supering, I don't know. I don't know. It's like even if you go full additional, like let's say you get these guys up to 30 additional, you essentially have the same percent chance to dodge as you do get the additional super attack, right? Because the points are doubled, right? So if you have 30 dodge, you just have 30 dodge. Like that's all you have. You have a 30% chance to dodge. But if you have 30 additional, right, then essentially you have a 60% chance. What? Why didn't it? You have a 60% chance to additional super attack, right? Or I'm sorry, you have an additional chance. You have a 60% chance to additional attack, right? But that additional attack has a 50% chance to be a super attack. So half the time it'll be an additional normal, half the time it'll be an additional super. So essentially, it's a 30% chance to additional super attack if you have 30 additional in your hidden potential system. So it's like, which do you want to bank on? A 30% chance to get, 200k more defense or a 30% chance to not take damage? I'm going to leave that decision up to you, but that's how I would view this. And whenever these guys come out on global eventually, I will probably be giving them full dodge. So just keep that in mind. Do not be surprised if you see a bunch of these built full dodge. It's like additionals are cool, but it's like they already have the built-in crit chance, so they don't really need the crit. And then, the dodge is really just going to help shore up this defense because, I mean, look at this, guys. I mean, this is like ideal scenario here with a ton of support. This is not super impressive anymore. Whenever we have bosses hitting for 2 million damage, and like 900k normals, this is not as good as it seems, right? I mean, this is with 35% damage reduction. There is that. So, I mean, it is better than it seems, but I don't know. If it were me, I would be going full dodge here because I don't know. You guys can decide for yourselves. You let me know in the comments what you think. But again, I think this is a full dodge unit. So down here, oh, don't look at that yet. That's spoilers. All right, so right here, don't look at this down here. um, so this is them with just a Goku. So I removed MVP 17 from the equation. So this would essentially be with UI Goku on rotation. So we're getting Tournament of Power and Shocking Speed instead down here. Again, these are all up on Twitter if you just want to take a look at them. You know, like on my Twitter. So right over here, you know, we've got them posted. So you know, check those out. But right here, this is assuming no Tournament of Power 17 on rotation, so you can see, like, links already, they are dropping off massively. If I just go up here and, like, compare right here, you can see, like, already they're just dropping off dramatically. I mean, guys, you have to have them next to MVP 17. Look at these numbers. Look at these numbers, man. With double supers, look at these numbers. This is abysmal. You have to have these guys next to a, like, Android unit. MVP 17 specifically is going to help him out a lot with his, you know, support. But guys, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. This is not acceptable. I mean, clearly they're meant to be run next to MVP 17, who did come out this year. But like, man, I don't know. It could be a little risky running him. If you can get his support up, he'll be great. But like his full, I mean, even if, because he himself, right? We take a look at him. He's not super impressive right here until this line right here is up. Once this line is up, then he's like really solid. But, you know, you got to juggle him under 77% HP, which isn't like the worst ever, but man, it's like it is dire for them to be next to another Android unit. You can see just like how much they are impacted. And then another thing here, you know, is that they're down to 233 alone, right? But then over here, I wanted to show on this bottom section just what happens if they don't get 7 orbs as well. So you can see that, I mean, it doesn't really impact them that much, but it will impact your other units on rotation, right? Because they're going to be missing out on the support as well. So again, this is kind of like a minimalistic scenario. This is kind of the range. So like down here, this would be like worst case scenario, 55%, 1 super attack, no MVP 17, no 7 orbs, and they're at 290k defense post super attack. I don't need to tell you guys that that's not very good. Also, start a turn. This would be, this line right here is going to be their start a turn defense every single time, like right here. And so you can see, like, that is not super great. Even, like, the juiced scenarios, I mean, we're only at 300k defense at the start of turn, which, you know, obviously will get shredded by Zamasu, who's doing, you know, 500k. He's doing 500k on normals, right? And then he's class advantage over them, so he's actually doing, like, 575. So just keep that in mind, something to keep in mind right there. And then also, guys, we got this really good banner unit right here. These guys, right? All right, so this is what they do. Pause and read that. Okay, pause. Everybody paused. Okay, you're unpaused. You read that. All right, here's their calcs right here. All right. Tell me if you disagree. All right. Well, there we go. That is Androids 17 and 18. And kind of the info dump that we got tonight. There was some other stuff on Twitter as well. You know, we got like a Krillin, like free-to-play, you know, Dragon Ball Kid Krillin. That Goku that we got like back in May, he got an awakening into just a TUR. And then like some other free-to-play units got some awakenings. But I'll go over that in the data download video tonight. Let me know what you guys think about Android 17 and 18 right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, here are the calcs. If you want to look at them, they're on Twitter, so you can just go check them out here. I got them in this little thread in a quote tweet to Garesh. So again, let me know what you guys think. Here's their kind of juiced calcs one more time before we leave. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.